welcome to the after party. It is going to be a beautiful week. As all of you know, it's going to be the earnings season, the most wonderful season. Thankfully, we get 4 times of this season a year. And there's banks up first. Last Friday, we had JP Morgan. We had not Bank of America, but Wells Fargo, Citigroup, Bank of America tomorrow morning for those of you interested. Tonight after hours, we have First Bank coming out and a couple other banks, not really the banks or stocks that we're used to trading, but you know, they're up here: FRBA, CFB, ELS, and HBCP up on the board. But for the most part, today we're going to go over the stocks that have earnings tomorrow pre-market, trying to look for the levels that might show up, see where the options guys are positioning themselves for these these earnings movers coming out tomorrow. We'll also look at a couple stocks that moved around today, such as Verizon, Ford, Tesla, Rivian, Lucid, all those EV car sectors coming into play. We'll look at a couple chip sectors, BBIO. A stock from our Trader TV Live watch list. If you didn't subscribe to that, you probably missed out on a monster mover from BBIO coming into play today. We'll also jump into Coinbase and cryptocurrencies. But how can we forget Activision, right? We got to look at Activision going into the end of the day over here, because that stock has kept us very, very interested for the last few days now, and going into this week. I can't wait to see what other extra catalysts come out for our bad boy Activision. As always, this show is brought to you by, let me just quickly go over here. I think I messed up the link real quick. Let me just put this up here. Okay, there we go. How come that is not going to the right screen? There, that's the right screen. We're good. The show is brought to you by Kalshi. Profit from your opinions with Kalshi. Investors can take yes or no positions on various events, including the U.S. defaulting on debt obligations, the Fed hiking rates in June, Biden's approval rate for the next month, and more. Turn your opinions into potential financial gains through the innovative platform of Kalshi. As you guys can see, today's poll coming into the chat over there was brought to you by Kalshi. You got a bunch of options. Make sure to click on the options that you think best fits where NASDAQ 100 closes by the end of the week. A stock that's actually on the watch list for tomorrow pre-market, because it has earnings tomorrow, is PNC. But for some reason in the after hours, apparently it moved quite a bit. It went up to 128 and all the way down to 124. I would like to confirm to see if that move is actually legitimate in the after hours, or if that's a little bit of a lie, right? So let's go extended trading hours. Yeah, we are in the extended. Yeah, I'm not seeing that on other platforms, but for some reason, Trade Ideas over here picked it up as a little bit of a move. Maybe that's just the it's picking up some dark pool data. But overall, PNC is on our watch list, but we'll come back to this one in a bit. I want to first go see if FBAR, which doesn't do a lot of volume, sadly. 18 million flow also. First Bank has been another bank that's probably been beat down quite a bit ever since all the other banks have beat down. I'm guessing it's a regional bank. I haven't really traded the stock ever, I'll be honest with you. Yeah, look at the most volume traded on the stock is just around 1 million. Most of the time we're below 1 million. So, I'll be doubtful if the stock even brings in some volume tonight, or even any possible trades for us tomorrow. But this stock doing good on earnings could possibly give us some sympathy trades across the board for other stocks, such as our friends and family at KRE, our regional bank sector coming into play maybe. But First Bank, not yet announcing their earnings. We're still waiting for it. No other movers showing up yet. So if that's the case, then why don't we go to all the earnings coming up from tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. Talk about the levels that all the earnings are being announced tomorrow, expected based on options earnings moves over here. So Bank of America first up on board, BAC. BAC expected move on earnings probably 3.4%. I'm still waiting on the number to update over here, but an expected 3.4% move. They're expecting a 30.41 move to the upside, or 28.39 move to the downside. Thankfully, the stock being pre-market, these numbers could, be be the levels that we could take breakout off of for a potential extended move to the north side, or reversal moves off of these for a move to the downside. Why isn't this number updating? Let me quickly refresh that page over here. Bank of America. Good night, brother. Good night, Ramin. Get home safe. Go to earnings. There we go. 3.4% expected for Bank of America. So $30.50 to the upside, or 20.39. How does the chart look on BAC? Let's go check out that bad boy. BAC on a daily chart, they're looking at 30.50 somewhere around these areas. 30.50 to come into play. Is it 30.50 or was it 31.50? 30.50. Okay. They're expecting 30.50 to come into play, so not too high from where 30 is, and 30 has been a little bit of a barrier. The stock went up to 29.50 today or so, I think. I was actually trading it. We can quickly go check that out too. Wrong button. Quickly go check that out too just by clicking on the 5-minute. As you see the barrier right there near 29.50. I was long around these areas. I took out profits and I tried to get back into the 29.50 for a potential move up to 30. Didn't get that move up to 30 today. But you know, if earnings come out good tomorrow, if the stock pops up above 30 and gets to that potential earnings expected move of 30.50 or so, maybe we get a nice little move past that and a little bit of extension on the whole banking sector. You guys can see how JP Morgan moved today. Here's a daily chart on JP Morgan. If we zoom into it a little bit, moving to a nice little marker of $153.20. JP Morgan had earnings on Friday, but sadly sold off on all day Friday. Quickly going to throw down you know, anchored view op over here, which just disappeared. Don't know where it went to, so we'll ignore that. But yeah, overall, JP Morgan with the monster day today to the upside, breaking multiple levels. That 150 area coming back into play today. You could have taken the breakout of 150 or you know, waited for the stock to open, show you strength around 150 and gotten into there too. And beautiful area. There was also a breakout over here at 152 or so, which I think I was part of. No, actually I was long here. I was long in the lower end of these ranges, and I got out in front of 152, and I was very upset of not taking the whole move on JP Morgan. But this move today, especially after a sell-off that the stock had on Friday, it's clearly showing you how bullish the banking sector is kind of waking up with higher interest rates. Bank of America, Charles Schwab, Morgan Stanley, all three of which have earnings tomorrow. We're going to look out for some fun happening most likely to the upside on the overall XLF basket. Now let's quickly go check out what our friends at Morgan Stanley are looking like on the earnings scale over here. I might have to turn off that one. There we go. So turn off. Now we go to Morgan Stanley. Morgan Stanley expected move 2.9%. They're expecting a move up to almost $89 or a move down to $84. The stock closed at 86.50-ish today. So a move down to 84 or a move up to 85 expected on Morgan Stanley. The next stock up here, Charles Schwab, SCHW. I always screw up when I'm typing the stocks ticker for some reason, not sure why. But let's go to earnings. 4.3% expected, a little bit of more percent expected than the other two banks that we've looked at so far. Makes sense, you know, Charles Schwab has been beat down a little bit more. Their partnership with TD kind of hasn't really been looked at on a good light, I believe, as far as I've read articles about it. So, you know, Charles Schwab, if they come out with good numbers, which we're expecting them to do, we're expecting all banks to come out with good numbers. Charles Schwab over here, 4.3% expected move, a move all the way up to $61 or a move down to $56 from currently closing at $58.64. Let's say $58.50, right? $58.50 sounds better. Let's look at the chat real quick. What's the chat looking at? Oh yeah, I have to take a vote on this poll too. So make sure you take a vote, guys. Only 84 people voted. Where do we see NASDAQ finishing by the end of the week? So let's go pull up the NASDAQ real quick. NQ. Where do I see NASDAQ closing by end of the week? NQ today had a pretty positive day, right? I mean, why is the candle red over here? Not sure. But they had a decent positive day on the market. I think the NASDAQ could, you know, especially with how earnings are coming out with Netflix, Tesla, and so on, we could easily go up to some crazy ranges. So I'll say above these, like we're already above these ranges. We're already above these ranges. I'm saying I'm picking an answer over here, but sadly we picked the three first options that we saw in Kalshi. Maybe we could have picked other options over here. Let's see what other options Kalshi actually shows us and are actually the most popular ones in their poll. So let's go find that. Let's go find that Kalshi one. Here we go. Here's the thing. What is their more popular poll over here? Is there anything in the 1600s? Not really that popular in the 1600s, but any 15,800s? Looks like people are not taking the 15,800 bets either. Most people are just waiting for the 16,000 move, it looks like, or a move right back down to 15,400. At least that's what the books are looking like. Here's where most of the money is being put down on, from 15,700 to 15,800. And if we go over here, 15,800 to 15,700, they're expecting somewhere back down in this range for the market to come back. Whoever's taking those bets, that is. So make your bet be known by putting your vote in that poll. I already picked, right? I already picked. So now, coming back to the market, come back to the chat. Chat's saying 16,500. I like that. Yeah, people are very bullish over here. Obviously, to the moon, ladies and gentlemen, to the moon. People in the chat saying shop with the downgrade. So maybe they're moving in the after hours over here. Let's go check out Shopify. Shopify is indeed moving a little bit in the after hours. We are sadly selling off. Looks like AT&T moving still in the after hours. Tesla, Ford, Verizon, AMD, all of those stocks which are on our watch list to come up after earnings watch list over here. But yeah, I see Shopify not on the list for some reason. But Shopify at the moment is selling off, sadly getting below 68, especially after having a pretty good day on the market. Selling off over here. Down goes SHOP. Thank you for the call out over there on that one, Darvin. Appreciate that very much. And that's why we love you. Number one, chat and YouTube. Always keeping us on track, especially when we miss out any important moves like this one. Coming back to the watch list for earnings movers, because I want to show you guys all the possible percentages for the good movers that are coming up. So we looked at Morgan Stanley, we looked at Charles Schwab, we looked at Bank of America. Let's head over to Lockheed Martin. I know this stock's a little bit expensive. Most of you don't really trade this position. So here's a quick little look at how big of a move it could be. A 2.7% move on the earnings call, earnings numbers. So a drop down to 457.40 or a move up to 482.56. Make sure you kind of take note of these numbers because they come true very often. They come true very often. So I like to look at the options AI tool over here that perfectly calculates all the numbers for us without having to do too much work. Let's go to PNC, which is also already apparently moving in the after hours for some reason. Not really too much volume coming in. I mean, we saw that move wasn't really. That move was fugazi, right? But this stock over here doesn't really do too much volume throughout the day. But if earnings come out good, if all banks are moving, maybe PNC moves too. And they're expecting a 3.5% move on PNC for a move up to 131.50 or a move down to 122.74. I like to think of it more in areas, so up to 133, 131.50, or down to 122.50 or so. So give it a little bit of a range over here on these bad boys. PNC, ladies and gentlemen. Last but not least, a stock that I don't really trade at all, but I put it on the board over here for you guys and girls. For anyone interested in trading this position, expected move for Novartis AG. NVS ticker, 4.4% move all the way back above 100 or back below 98 where we're currently closed at and go to 95, 94.60-ish or so on Nova. These are the tickers that will have earnings in pre-market tomorrow morning. We also have after hours. The after hour movers will be the ones that we really will be looking at most likely will be WAL, the Western Alliance Bank, and IBKR, Interactive Brokers. Interactive Brokers, a little bit maybe not on the radar, let's be real, but the WAL, we'll take a look at how WAL comes out because obviously how WAL moves tomorrow after hours could really signal a save to the banking sector. Not only are the banks saving themselves, but if the regional banks come back to life also, then that's a very good catalyst. PACW, WAL, all the other little regional banks that we've known to be trading, we'll have a lot of fun with all of them. These are all basically the stocks that have earnings that we want to be taking a look at coming into tomorrow morning, tonight, and even tomorrow after close. So we'll be keep doing this kind of routine, getting ready for all these movers, because coming up for the rest of this week, as for anyone interested, a quick little glimpse for what we have on Wednesday: Goldman Sachs, Tesla, Netflix, Halliburton, United, IBM, the NASDAQ market itself, right? There's so many stocks I could just keep on going. On Thursday, we have TSM, American Airlines, Johnson & Johnson. So this is just unstoppable. This list just keeps on going. So we will have so much fun looking at all the movers coming out in the after hours. Shop is still moving, as you guys can see on my screen over here. It is selling off, looks like, with that downgrade. Getting hurt. No Shopify. Didn't they recently get an upgrade, if I remember correctly, chat? But right now, clearly a downgrade coming in for your friends over here on Shopify. This is sad. Disney, why Disney going to the downside is one of our viewers asking in our chat. I mean, it makes sense, right? What does Disney do? Disney basically makes movies, and I mean, you might think, yeah, they make animated movies, but who voices said animated movies? Actors? Who writes said animated movies? Writers? People in Hollywood, right? Like filmmakers. What's his name? The guy who makes the latest movie, Oppenheimer. I forgot his name. Christopher Nolan. You think he's out there with the camera himself walking around? They have a million other people helping them, right? So Disney, which mostly relies on film, and mostly North American film, Hollywood side-based film, if Hollywood's going on strike, that's a lot of content that they're going to miss out on. Whereas compared to Netflix, Netflix is not just North America. They are worldwide. They have film studios in India. They have film studios in Korea. Look at Squid Games. Look at all the Indian shows that are really popular these days on Netflix, with especially Saif Ali Khan and so on. I forget which one that one, Sacred House or something, if anyone in the chat knows what the Indian one is. So it's the comparison between Netflix and Disney there. Is why Disney has been selling off. Disney just gets beat up on just the strike that's going on. Sadly, they just have to deal with the Sacred Games. Thank you. I thought it was Sacred House, Sacred Games. That was a pretty good show. I like that one. I don't know if there's a new season for it or not. Rebalance Monday, July 24th. Okay. Monday, July 24th, rebalance coming in means basically that's July 24th is a Monday, right, ladies and gentlemen? Yeah, so rebalance is actually going to be this Friday 21st. That's the way it works. Is they say by the start of July 24th, which basically means by the end of July 21st, or by the market open on July 24th, Monday. So either by Friday market through Friday, before market opens on Monday, you have to rebalance yourself and be balanced with how NASDAQ positions themselves. So there might be a bunch of trades coming in this Friday. Obviously, it'll be fun to watch how the imbalance locator lights up with all the sells and buys on the NASDAQ market. We'll take a look at that one without doubt. The next stock over here I actually have that we have to go through is the sell-off that happened on AT&T today, even on Verizon, both of which are still selling off in the after hours. Down 0.4% and down 3%, as you guys can see in the after hours respectively, bringing in 3 million shares and 4 million shares for Verizon and AT&T over here. AT&T on the 5-minute chart just looks like a straight downwards move, which we knew for the most part. But if we go to the daily chart, we're hitting new 52-week lows. The new 52-week lows are not only new 52-week lows, but we're also so much lower than where we used to be on the stock. It is an absolute downside destruction. So if tomorrow, did the stock go down 10%? It didn't even drop 10%. That's the beauty of it, right? We're only down 6.7% on the day on AT&T and on Verizon, and this new 52-week low obviously gives us new ranges that the stock hasn't traded in 15 years or whatever. I think that was a stat for Verizon. I'm not sure if that was a stat for AT&T also, but I would expect it to be. Then we have new ranges. We have completely new zones, completely new ranges for the stock to play around in. And there's nothing much that the stock can do other than price discovery. Tomorrow, obviously, for a stock like this, which doesn't really, have that big of an ATR, it dropped down 98 cents today. I would love to see what the ATR is for the stock on a day-to-day basis. So if we could just go here real quick, type in FinViz. I don't trade AT&T, so you guys like to see me on the midday guessing ATRs on the fly. ATR, for those who are wondering in the chat what it is, it's average true range. I would guess for AT&T, the ATR is probably 30 cents or so. So let's go take a look at that. Don't even trade it, and I still nailed it, right? 30 cents, and today it traded 90 cents, almost 3 times its ATR, 2 times its ATR. So it had a pretty insane move. The stock doesn't move that much in a day, and it had a pretty insane move overall. Now, if we're wondering, where could the stock go to next? I think tomorrow, honestly, we see a little bit of a bounce, a little bit of a rescue coming in back within the range over here. I can't see the stock taking out the 52-week low and going much lower. I thought America runs on AT&T, right? Does it not? Or was that just the advertisement lie that they keep spreading around? So, I can't expect the stock to make a whole new 52-week low tomorrow, especially after making a 52-week low on Friday and then continuing to the downside. So that was the main trigger over there. I can't see three full big down days like that, right? So here's the level. That was the previous 52-week low. Friday we broke down, made a new 52-week low, and then bounced back. Here we make a new 52-week low. Good night, Brendo. Get them safe. Here we make a new 52-week low, and then we're trying to, maybe bounce a little bit. I would love to see the stock, obviously, to get back above, maybe give us a move up to 14, and then be able to short 14. T-Mobile, AT&T, T almost never moves. Yeah, T moves in 30-cent ranges. T moves in 30-cent ranges. AT&T sucked, they says. America runs on Dunkin' Donuts. Oh, is that what it was? I thought America runs on AT&T. T is like Buffett buy levels. Okay, I mean, isn't that good for you to buy then? That's Dunkin' Donuts. You're right, Chad. I apologize. That's Dunkin' Donuts. Look, I don't eat donuts. Do I look like I eat donuts? Answer is yes. But I don't eat donuts. I'm not a big donuts guy. There is one donuts though that I do like. It's going to be the Tim Hortons sour cream glazed donuts. Those are good. I like those donuts, especially if they're fresh and warm. Or Krispy Kreme donuts are pretty good too. Krispy Kreme are good. I haven't had Krispy Kreme in so long. Ridiculously long. All right. The next stock in the same realm of basket is Verizon. Verizon pretty much doing the same thing. Friday testing the 52-week low, and then today breaking past that 52-week low, pushing much lower, and then creating a new multi-year low. Multi-year low coming into play. If we actually go down here to this scale and type in monthly, zoom out a little bit. What is that? That's 2011 lows. So we're pushing down to 2011 lows. That is pretty insane, right? 2011 lows coming into play. How low can we go on this position? The fact that the stock didn't trigger SSR today means that the stock could go down easily another 7 to 10% tomorrow, right? So be careful. And the same thing could happen to AT&T. The same very thing could happen to AT&T. It could easily go down another 7 to 10% tomorrow. Even though I want to see it get saved a little bit, it might not happen. However, for Verizon, I think Verizon's a much worse company than AT&T just based on their revenues and so on. Let's quickly go see what the market cap is for AT&T. AT&T market cap, did we see it? 96 billion for AT&T. Verizon's market cap is 132 billion. Okay, so Verizon's a bigger company. Do you guys think Verizon is a bigger company than AT&T, or is AT&T bigger? Because I believe AT&T is bigger than Verizon. Verizon also had a bad catalyst. That's true. It does have a bad catalyst, so that's also pushing it down. I think we see 30 breaking tomorrow. If 30 doesn't break, and actually we might even see a fail break of 30. If we see a fail break of 30 setting up tomorrow, then you can possibly build into some longs over there. But the fact that the stock hasn't triggered SSR today, I could easily see the stock breaking 30, pushing to the downside, actually triggering SSR, and then go to the north side. It would be absolutely insane to see what happens. They need to stop running the goofy ads with the normies all the time, and they need to save Mr. T to save them. Who had Mr. T ads, Verizon or AT&T? AT&T is larger, Verizon is larger, Verizon's the biggest. Let's chat. Let's quickly use our trusty friend, Google. Google Trends. AT&T, compare. How do I spell Verizon, chat? Verizon Telecommunications. Okay. Ooh, look at that. So interest over time, this is in Canada. We don't want Canada. Let's actually go worldwide. Why don't we go worldwide? Let's do past 5 years, okay? Let's do past 5 years. Ooh, look at that. Actually, Verizon was on top for the most part. Was on top, comes back, and then over here, starting from 2022, actually gets lower and lower and lower. And what this basically shows you is what people are searching every time they're, I guess, Googling anything based on AT&T. Looks like AT&T HBO Max, so on. Most of it's not basically telecoms. A lot of it is other stuff too. But yeah, Disney Plus related inquiries coming in. I like it. You know, that's why I like to use Google Trends to do a little bit of my research. You get to see an idea of what the interest over time, not only based on the company's fundamentals, but even psychology, right? Based on Google searches, based on psychology, based on other Google patterns that people are using that ties in with these telecommunications, kind of gives you an overall idea. Looks like a pretty tied battle, but Verizon's been on top for the most part. But here on out, we've been on top for AT&T. I don't know why I'm saying we. I'm not part of either or. But, AT&T has been on top a little bit over here for the last few years. Shout out to AT&T and T-Mobile. But yeah, I think T-Mobile is at the top, right? If I'm not wrong. What I think the largest ones here in Canada are Rogers and Bell, and they basically own every single other one. The one I use used to be called Win Mobile, Freedom. Yeah, okay, Kat's at her too, and Kat's about to head home, so good night, Kat. Thank you for everything, and see you tomorrow. But yeah, Kat and I are both on Freedom Mobile, and which is now owned by Shaw, and Shaw got bought out by Rogers. So we are basically owned by Rogers, the very same company that I was running away from my whole life and trying not to be tied to under as a service plan. So at the end of the day, that's how Canadians market work. They just buy each other out, and no one cares. No one cares. Coming back to the market, though, which is what you guys care about. Coming back to the market over here. Verizon pulling back to these numbers, man, pretty insane. Can I zoom to the left side somehow? Is that all-time low? No way, chat. Are you telling me Verizon's trying to push down to all-time lows at the moment? Let's go to a different chart here. Connect, please. Verizon, let's go all-time. No, exactly, I thought so. Not all-time. That's IPO. The chart just wouldn't load much further than that. Each candle you see here is a month at the moment. I think this consolidation area, these lows over here to these lows are going to be where you could expect a little bit of a support. I mean, the fact that we're already at these two tops and showing so much. Look at the volume though. The volume hasn't really gone up as much as you would expect it to. Yeah, the stock traded 97 million shares today, but on a month-by-month scale, the volume is not really much lower. If you guys can see that down here, it's not much greater. Look at what happened over here when volume really pumped up in 2014 of February. But over here, even in COVID, right here, March of 2020, when volume really got pumped up compared to all the other volume candles next to it. But on this move over here, I'm not seeing that much of a volume pump. So that indicates maybe we could see some longs coming in tomorrow. Because this is longs not really punching out too much, even though the stock has a catalyst. I could be wrong on it. I hope I do, because I want to short the stock tomorrow. I'm being honest. I want to short the stock tomorrow. I want to see the 31 breaking. I want to move down to 30, maybe even 20, 28 or something. Look for that move coming up. But based on just the lack of volume to the downside, or increased volume, especially on a move to the downside, that's a lack of longs actually not punching out of their positions as much as you think they would be off the catalyst that the stock had. That's a surprising indication if I noticed. All right, what's going on with the lead lines disposal costs? Not sure. I don't really trade lead or anything in that realm. Going into the next positions over here, but I will have to talk about before that our sponsor for the day over here on the next sponsor. Let me quickly turn that over and turn off Market Box. Boom. Our sponsors for the next day, Day Trade the World. As you guys can see, everything on this floor over here is on the trading floor over there that you see is Day Trade the World. We are sponsored by Day Trade the World. If you want to open up your own office, or if you want to work for a trading floor like the one that you see behind the show every single day, go to daytradetheworld.com or email us at marketing@dttw.com to learn more about Day Trade the World or the software P-Pro 8 that you see the traders using every single day in the morning to trade. Coming back to the market over here, ladies and gentlemen, the next few stocks that we have, we just talked about Verizon and AT&T. Let's go to Ford and GM. Ford had a monster sell-off today, down 5%, pushing all the way back to $14. They said some of their cars, well, not some, but most of their EV cars will be looking at price cuts, but their Ford F-150 electric Lightning, that's a mouthful, is going to now be around $50,000 for the base model. So they're also looking to price cut on those cars. They're looking to increase production on these cars too. So a little bit of, you cut prices, you're not making as much money, your margins are lower. What if you run into another supply chain issue? Then you're not making as many cars again. Then again, the stock gets hurt. So there's so many things over here in the car realm that you always have to track and be careful about. So today with the beautiful move down to 6%, probably should not be using that word beautiful, because a lot of you probably don't like that move that the stock played out. Let's go to the one-day chart. Here's the one-day chart moving right back to that $14 area. We could expect some support to show up at 14, but if this catalyst is too strong, then that 14 break should give you a nice move down below 14 for a swing down to maybe $13, or even an intraday move down to $13. I can't expect an intraday move down to 13, but an intraday move down to $13.50 or even $13.20 would be amazing. But if 13 does come into play, that would be awesome. We could look for the stock to even find support somewhere between 14 and 1380, 1370. Maybe the stock breaks 14, goes down to 1318, 1370, and then shows buyers again and gets back above 14 and then starts moving back above 14. So you want to be careful if you are short. You don't want to give it too much room. Right? Don't give it too much room on the stock, especially if you're taking a lot of size. The stock trades 90 to 100 million shares in a day, especially when a stock is having a strong catalyst behind it. Always fun to trade forward. I will for sure be having it on my watch list. Next one over here, GM, not really something that I trade, but it also moved down quite a bit today. I think Ford is a better trade, I'll be honest with you guys. So why don't we move on to a stock that was very fun to trade today. It's going to be our friend, the bad boy on the street, the one and only Tesla. Tesla was so much fun today. I mean, that 288 breakout, if I can just quickly head over to the 5-minute chart, the 288 breakout, pre-market high breakout, ripping the stock to the upside. I took multiple breakouts, honestly, the 288, 290, 291. Then later on in the day, I even shorted 288, and then I just left the stock alone. So it was pretty awesome to trade the stock throughout the day. Overall, the fact that the stock is back above 290, closing above 290 in the regular trading hours, and even in the after hours, trying to hold 290 on the bids and continue trickling its way to the north side. Post-market, we're still bringing in volume. 4 million shares traded in the post-market compared to 130 million shares traded throughout the day. So still volume being traded, and the stock's not able to push below 290. So it looks like there's still buyers here. And if tomorrow the market ends up being positive, more upside possibly coming in for Tesla, especially off the catalyst that they had, that they're looking to increase start the production on the Cybertrucks and just start killing it, start running over some of these other EV companies, such as maybe Ford, right? Run over that Ford electric Lightning truck with a Tesla Cybertruck. Hopefully no one's in either of the cars when you're running over any other car, okay? Profits gone and dibs reduced. What's going on there, Warren Buffett? Why are the profits gone? Don't say that. So Tesla over here looking to push to the north side one more time off that positive catalyst. We'll just have to wait and see if that bad boy ends up playing out that way. It's half past the stream, so you guys know what time it is.
Hola, like and subscribe today.
Like and subscribe today. All right, Tesla is always on the board. We cannot ignore this bad boy. Also can't ignore Lucid. You know, Lucid did look like it was going to crumble and go to the downside, but the 660, 650 area came back in, taking the stock back above 7, ending 5% on the day. Lucid just can't stop. Wonderful stock. So tomorrow maybe $7 comes back into play. We'll see if we can hold up trades, find some trades around $7 on Lucid, maybe get some longs built into this one, allowing us to ride this one to the moon tomorrow. Another swing up north. You know, EV sector has been not really the hottest today. Rivian, I believe, has been red. Here we go. Rivian down 3%. Is NIO red today? NIO flat, but started off red. Lucid started off red, but ended up being green big time. What other EV stock can we look at? FSR. FSR up 11% today. Wow. How come no one really talked about Fisker today? Fisker up 11%. Monster ripped to the north side. It wasn't on my radar, so maybe I should put it up on there eventually. BBIO, that stock moved quite a bit today, huh, ladies and gentlemen? So let's go take a look at this one. Let's actually take a look at it on a longer time frame. Let's go to the one-day chart. What? Oh, yes, that's that's what I thought. BBIO. Oh, is that a gap close incoming? I like it. So possible gap close, I'll move up to $40. I mean, technically the gap close is at 38. Technically the gap close is around $38 or so. We popped up to $32 today. Actually, we popped all the way up to $34 today. Give me that box. Oh, I don't have the box? Okay. Where'd the box go? Maybe now I get it. Okay, there we go. We popped up to, $34.28 or so. We closed around $32. So Monster moved to the north side, taking out month ranges over here, as you guys can see on positive catalyst. The catalyst is obviously on our Trader TV live watch list. If you're not subscribed to it, ladies and gentlemen, you're always making a mistake to that one. So here's an idea for the gap close not working, right? There's no rule that a gap has to always be closed. The stock gapped up, didn't really close. I would say it closed. I would say it closed. But some of you might say, the gap didn't really close because we didn't go down to 11. This is around 1173. It has to drop to 11. It has to close the gap and so on. Some of you might say that, but I'll say the gap over here closed. But that's a pretty decent example how gaps don't always have to be closed. That changed my mind over there, though. But overall, there's that hidden rule in the market that gaps always have to get filled. A big volume spike on the stock today. Look at how the stock randomly does big spikes on volume and then dies down, big spikes of volume and then dies down. I think this one might be a little different because it's one of the biggest volume spikes that the stock has had in a while. It has a good catalyst behind it. It's getting ready to maybe now close the gap. If the stock brings in volume tomorrow also, the breakout of today's high, $35, $34 for a potential run up to 40, always on board. The float of the stock is also not the greatest. I mean, that's a lie. The float is actually 116 million, so it's a pretty decent float. The short float's pretty high too. 16% of the short float's actually short. So I think there could be another squeeze move coming in maybe on BBIO. We'll watch. We'll have to have this one on board. It'll be crazy to not have this one on board. Let's go to a stock that's apparently moving right now in the after hours. It's going to be TER. Darwin calling out TER. So let's go see that. Yeah, TER popping up. No real volume though, Darwin. I'll be honest about that. Not seeing too much volume spike in that one. Let's actually go refresh this page. Hopefully it didn't dox myself. Jesus. FBK, is that First Bank? I guess First Bank is moving, but not a lot of volume. FBK, FRBA, First Bank is moving. 26,000 volume only, but 15% to the north side. So that's a pretty decent move over there. Any other earnings move coming out? No, but Pinterest moved up 2.9% with light volume. We also got FMC, not sure what that is. PMN, that stock has been pretty crazy today. We looked at that one quite a bit on the show if you guys are watching that. So that stock was wild, man. PMN. Let's come back to what we were talking about, which is BBIO. Very interested in BBIO to the upside if it takes out today's high, and if it shows us some strength for a move up to 40, that'll be insane. Next stop. Activision. Activision has been pretty cool, ladies and gentlemen. It's been pretty fun to trade the stock. I have the same regret that our friend Neil has, not being able to capitalize as much as I should be able to on this position. I should be doing much better, but we can't be thinking that way. We should be thinking about how can we do much better, not that we should be. Because the market doesn't care what you should be. The market only cares about what you can and are doing, right? So how can we be better? We just need to, focus on the levels harder. We need to look at the level 2 and be honed in onto the chart and the moves and coming in. So tomorrow, this 93 area, I'm very interested in to see how the 93 area holds tomorrow on Activision. Very, very bullish on the stock, especially with all the catalysts coming out almost every other day. We're seeing Activision just be bullish, bullish, bullish. So I am going to be nothing but bullish until the stock goes to all the way back up to a beautiful number 95, or we see a catalyst coming out saying the stock is being rejected and getting pushed down to the beautiful number of well below 95, right? Well below 95. Stunning twist, Bears majority now in poll. Hollywood bloodbath summer. I went to Mission Impossible movie Friday and only mildly impressed. Over 3 hours long. 3 hours. What? Yeah, I've heard, I saw a couple articles saying Paramount does not look like a good trade to the long side anymore, especially with the strike going on and with the lackluster numbers for the Mission Impossible movie. So Disney, you're seeing Disney get hurt. Activision tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, I'm looking for anything above 90. Anything above 90, I'm looking to get long on this position. It's that simple. I can't wait to see the stock get back up to 95. Give us a beautiful moves from 90 to 95. Once again, for those of you who are wondering what stocks have earnings tomorrow, we have Bank of America, Charles Schwab, Morgan Stanley, Lockheed Martin, PNC, Prologis, BNY Mellon. Never traded any of these stocks. PNC, obviously, and NVS, Novartis. A couple other stocks coming out in the after hours, IBKR, WAL. Don't really trade any of these other positions, so we can kind of ignore them maybe. And then we'll talk about the other stocks coming out with earnings later on. I want to talk about the next over here on board is to see, did we miss out on any after hour movers? Don't think we did. We talked about pins, no real volume, only 300,000 shares traded, so we can move on from that one. But ARDS is moving 5.7%. It's a penny stock, so ignore what's happening over there. ARDS, European Medicinary Agency, on the clinical study design of a single confirmatory phase 3 study of AR301. Not sure where AR301 is, but this stock clearly moving up with some decent volume in the after hours. Market cap 9 million with 2.7 million volume coming in after hours, and moving up about 57% to the north side. So shout out to all the penny baggers over there. Almost better than Mulan today. MULN doing worse than ARDS. That's pretty surprising. Don't find anything else on the scanner, so we can move on from this one and talk about the earnings. Not earnings, sorry. The IPOs. The IPOs coming up next are going to be Oddity Tech on the 19th of July. And SRFM, the direct listing, Surf Air Mobility, which will be on the 27th of July. This will be a direct listing, so hence we don't see the price yet. But Oddity is very interesting. Surprisingly enough, Surf Air Mobility offer amount used to be 300,000, but now it's only 100,000. And previously, before the stock's IPO date changed, sorry, what's it called? Yeah, the IPO or direct listing date change, the stock had a SPAC. So Surf Air Mobility had a SPAC that they were planning to do, and that SPAC fell apart completely. So they had to go through the direct listing route, and the direct listing date changed for the second time as far as we know. So looking forward to see how this stock opens up and trades, if there is any hype behind it or not. But looks like there might be a little bit of a hype behind Oddity Tech, which we for sure have on our watch list. That one's on the 19th of July. Not anytime soon, so we have a little bit of a time still for that bad boy. Next one up here is actually the FOMC watch tool. Oop, wrong page. Refresh. All right. Let me sit back down. The FOMC watch tool. So the FOMC watch tool shows you exactly where the market is kind of predicting what the next FOMC committee's interest rate hike percentages will be. And currently, we're at a 98% probability that it will be a 0.25% rate hike coming into the next interest rates, which will be on the 26th of July. So make sure that you have that date booked apart, put aside. Don't go on vacations. You might get some cool trades off of that number. It could be a nothing burger. That's fine. But you could get some cool trades coming off that number. 26th of July coming in around 2 o'clock or so. And at 2:30, you'll have Papa Powell going on the podium, dropping some hot bars. Dropping some hot bars. I'm pretty much done over here with my watch list. Anything you guys want me to take a look at before we call it? Let me know. I'm always here, chat. In the meantime, I'll quickly show you today's number one volume leaders. Our volume leaders, Tesla, AT&T, Verizon Communications, Ford, AMD, Rivian, Palantir, NVIDIA, BBIO. So we gotta love seeing BBIO creeping up into that list today. What insane volume. 47 million volume on a complete scale of average 3-month volume was only 1.86 million. The stock absolutely took off today. SoFi was another one that took off today. SoFi went pretty good also to the north side. I think if I remember correctly, 950s broke out at some point, 980s. Wow, oh, look at that. The trend line actually held to the downside and then held to the upside now, and then came back down, tested that trend line, and is now pushing back to the north side. Looks like SoFi, DKNG, Palantir, all these amazing stocks that have been absolutely, pushed down to the downside. I don't want to say thanks to Aunt Kathy, but I think Aunt Kathy is the fault. But yeah, thanks to Aunt Kathy, all these stocks have now been rescued again. DraftKings thoughts. Yeah, let's go to DraftKings. I like DraftKings, man. I like DraftKings. It's just kind of disheartening because I took profits for half of my size on my long-term account for $1 per share profit. Damn it. And now the stock wants to go higher and higher. So that sucks a little bit. Obviously, where do I see the stock going? It'll be hard to see the stock going right back into the 40s and 50s. I'll be honest. The stock wants to go back into 50s and 60s. It'll be hard for me to see that happen. At least not... I should choose my words carefully. Maybe not by the end of the season is what I want to say. I could be wrong. But I can't see the stock going back to 50s and 60s. Any support on Disney? I think you want to wait on Disney until the news changes. Until the strike's over, until the catalyst kind of shifts. You want to be careful. SoFi earnings in 2 weeks from today in pre-market. Yes, sir. We'll talk about that when we get closer to the SoFi earnings. Today, the SoFi had a pretty monster day. SoFi almost took out 10. SoFi almost took out 10, 981 being the high of day. We've been waiting for 10 to come into play. These numbers will be the IPO lows on SoFi. So we are looking for these numbers to come into play. We'll patiently wait to see if they do help us out. I'm just looking at my watch list over here. I'm pretty sure I had everything on the watch list, ladies and gentlemen. So I don't have anything over here. So on that note, I think I've provided you with some good trade ideas on some of the movers from today. We talked about the earners from tomorrow. We got the pre-market earners from tomorrow. We will look at the after-hour earners tomorrow after hours. And good luck on the markets tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great earnings season, and I will see you tomorrow at 11 o'clock with my co-host Obi, who's standing there. I'm not sure why. I guess he's waiting for me. But he's saying goodbye too. So let me quickly go to this screen. Bang. Let's actually go here. I want to go to this screen instead. And then bang, I want to show this one. Scan that QR code down below. Welcome to the After the Close show. I'll see you tomorrow during 11 o'clock to 2 o'clock with Obi and myself for the midday. And back here again at 4 o'clock to cover all the after-hour movers and the pre-market earners for tomorrow. So let's get ready for all the fun stuff that's happening. Have a great night and get some sleep. Bye-bye.